Hello everyone and welcome to what is my WrestleMania 39 predictions. To me, this is the biggest WrestleMania ever. I've never seen a WrestleMania bigger. Last year was great. This year is fantastic. A lot of great matches on this card and I can't wait to get into them. Just a quick disclaimer, this is being filmed on Thursday the 30th of March before the SmackDown before WrestleMania. So if anything is added on the card there, don't have a go at me, it's filmed the day before. Anyway, that's all from me. Let's get on with the video. Starting off with John Cena versus Austin Theory for the United States Championship. This is a tough one, to be honest. John Cena could easily win and win the United States title, go on to defend it the next night in an open challenge. It'd be great, and I'd enjoy that. But Austin Theory could also win and continue his legendary, well, what will be legendary reign. He's beating John Cena at WrestleMania. It's a great story going forward, especially since there's pictures of Austin Theory doing John Cena's poses from the past of the US title, the chain gang stuff. It's just, there's a lot there, especially with John Cena's promo on Monday. Sorry, not Monday, last Monday. But I think I'm just going to go with, I think I'm going to have to go with John Cena. Based on what I think could happen with Cena winning the belt and defending it the night after against a debut, a return, that WrestleMania, Raw after WrestleMania moment for a new guy or something. Maybe Ciampa returns and wins the belt. Who knows? Seth freaking Rollins versus Logan Paul. Now, there's not been much build with this one. There's been some, and I've enjoyed what there is of it. I think Logan Paul is one of the best celebrities in wrestling ever. He knows what he's doing. He knows how to put on good matches. He's as a natural heel for obvious reasons, but we won't get into that. And Seth Rollins is just doing such a good job with his character work. This is another one that's hard to say on who will win, but based on the fact that Logan Paul's contract is coming up at the end of WrestleMania, or after WrestleMania 39, I'm gonna have to go with Seth freaking Rollins, just based on that alone, because I don't see Logan getting a win if he's not going to stay with the company. It only makes sense to me. Trish Stratus, Lita, and Becky Lynch versus Damage Control. Wow, this one has, much like the first match, has all sorts of possibilities, really. Especially with Trish Stratus teasing a heel turn somewhat in the last couple of weeks, because that can lead to a match later down the line between Becky and Trish. And with that, I truly think that we're going to see Bayley pin Becky Lynch after some sort of thing that happens in ring. Maybe Becky's accidentally hit Trish and that causes something for the next night on Raw where we get a heel turn and it all falls apart, and we get Becky versus Trish at some other pay-per-view. I think it would be great. So yeah, I'm going with Damage Control. Brock Lesnar versus Omos. Now, this is the match I'm most looking forward to. As an Homo sapien, my instinct is to go with Omos. And that's probably what that is who I'm going for. I feel like Brock Lesnar has been putting over talent recently. He's put over Bobby Lashley. He's put over Roman Reigns again. And I think he's going to put over Omos as well. That would really make Omos look like a threat. And especially when you look at Omos' WrestleMania record, right? He's teamed with AJ at WrestleMania 37 in his debut Mania. He faced Bobby Lashley the next year. Now he's facing Brock Lesnar. He's been with 3 top guys, 3 WrestleManias in a row. I truly think there's big things for Omos in the future. So for that reason, Omos is beating Brock Lesnar. Bianca Belair versus Asuka for the Raw Women's Championship. Now I think this one's obvious. I'm not going to go into this one too much because Asuka returned in the Royal Rumble, and with a new look, she's gone back to her Kana look from when she was in Japan. That is great because Kana is amazing, and that's all I really need to say for this. Really, Asuka's winning straight up. Bianca's reign has gone on for far too long. I think it should end pretty soon, and that's what I think is going to happen. So, Asuka to beat Bianca. Charlotte Flair versus Rhea Ripley. This for me is quite similar to the Asuka Bianca one. I don't want Charlotte Flair to be champion anymore. Didn't want her to win the belt in the first place. Better than having Ronda Rousey as the champion, but I didn't want her to be champion. But since Rhea's won the Royal Rumble and Rhea is the most over woman in the company, probably next to Asuka, I think Rhea is going to win clean. She's going to win clean, I think. Perfect. And it would be huge, especially for Judgment Day, to have a belt on their faction. And that could potentially be the rise of that faction for the future. Gunther versus Sheamus versus Drew McIntyre in a triple threat match for the Intercontinental Championship. Now, this one's a difficult one, because obviously I want Gunther to retain the title because I want him to beat the Honky Tonk Man's record IC title reign. But at the same time, I feel like it's been a while since McIntyre has held a championship in this company. Sheamus really deserves that Grand Slam champion with the IC belt. So this is a really hard one. And obviously this match is going to slap, pun intended, because there's going to be so many chops, so many punches, stiff punches from all 3 men. But if I'm being honest, Gunther is walking out with the championship to beat, and he will beat Honky Tonk Man's record. 100%. But Sheamus could be the one to dethrone him later down the line. Edge versus Finn Balor in a Hell in a Cell match. Wow. Now this one is incredible. We've got Brood Edge, who is probably the most dangerous version of Edge. He's a vampire. And Demon Finn Balor, again the most dangerous version of Finn Balor if you're not a Samoan Joe. So this one can go either way again. I think the Demon should win since he's had 2 losses. So that sort of makes, if he loses to Edge now, that to me makes the Demon look a lot weaker than the Demon should be. I don't even think the Demon was meant to come back originally once he'd lost to Roman. So if anything, this is even worse, and I'm truly worried. But if the Demon doesn't win at WrestleMania, then I'm worried for Finn Balor and Judgment Day as a whole. And especially since Edge is also retiring. Well, his contract is up the end of this year. So anything could happen. If Edge decides to stay, he could win. But I really think Finn Balor will be walking away with the win here. Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez versus Natalya and Shotzi versus Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler versus Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville. Women's WrestleMania Showcase. Now, I'm going to be honest, I don't care for this match. I haven't looked at any of the build. I didn't even know this match existed until loading up Wikipedia to see the card. So, this one, I have no clue what's going on. I can only assume it's going to be Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler that walk away with the win, just based on them names. But I had no idea this existed, so I'm just going to move on to the next one. Braun Strowman and Ricochet versus the Street Profits versus Alpha Academy versus the Viking Raiders. Pretty much the same as the women's one, except all of these teams are teams and pretty good teams. I think Montez and Dawkins, the Street Profits, will win. Well, not will win. I want them to win. But if I'm being honest, I can only see it being two teams, that being Strowman and Ricochet or the Viking Raiders, since they've been heavily pushed recently. Alpha Academy seem to be on the split, with Otis leaning more towards the Maximum Male Models, being Otis, which is amazing, by the way. And the Street Profits, as much as I want them to be in the title picture and winning more matches, it's either going to be Strowman and Ricochet or the Viking Raiders. But my main choice, based just because the Viking Raiders is the other decision, I'm going to go with Strowman and Ricochet. The Usos versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn for the Undisputed Tag Team Championship. Now this one, without a doubt, I don't even have to talk about this. You all know this feud. It's the biggest feud in wrestling right now. Obviously, Sami Zayn, part of the bloodline. Kevin beating up Kevin Owens on a weekly basis. Low blowed him at War Games just in November. Then hitting Roman Reigns with a chair. Leaving the bloodline. Jey Uso in a decision. Where does he go? Does he stick with family or does he stick with his brother? His honorary Uso, Sami Uso. Eventually, he did stick with with the bloodline, and Kevin Owens refused to help Sami for so long until he finally struck a chord. Kevin Owens comes out and helps Sami Zayn. Now we've got this match. We've got the Usos, brothers, versus Sami and Kevin, brothers. And if WWE is smart, which hopefully they are, they will give the win to Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Give them the tag team titles. Let them do something amazing with those titles. Have that be the downfall of the bloodline. Rey Mysterio versus Dominic Mysterio. Now, this one is a tough one to call, in a way. Obviously, Rey Mysterio, he's in the Hall of Fame this year. Dominic Mysterio, he's been beating up his dad for recent weeks, right? Rey has said that he doesn't feel anywhere close to retiring yet. So that could mean Dominic is losing and Rey is continuing. He'll continue anyway if that's the case, but if Dominic wins this match, I don't see how Rey would continue. To me, Dominic beating Rey is the end of Rey's career. That's it. That's what that is to me. But as it's gone on throughout this entire card, Rhea's won, Finn Balor wins, and I think Dominic also wins. Give Judgment Day 3 wins at Mania. They're on the rise once again, and that's what you need. Main event time. Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes for the Undisputed Universal Championship. Well, where do we go from here? Roman Reigns, longest reigning Universal WWE Champion in modern history. I believe he's 4th longest reign in history. That's what I think it is. Don't quote me on that though. Oh my god. Cody Rhodes in 2016. Stardust. He's been fired. He's no longer here. He trumps on the indies. He takes over the indies, goes to Japan. He meets some new friends, Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, Hangman Adam Page. They go on to create this company that somewhat rivals WWE. Cody is struggling to get over in that company. He's getting booed every time he comes out. Every single time. No one likes him. He leaves. Comes to WWE. At WrestleMania 38, Cody Vader through the stage beats Seth Rollins. Not once, not twice, but thrice with a torn pec. Now he goes off, comes back at the Royal Rumble, wins the Rumble. Now he faces Roman Reigns to finish the story. I mean, how good is that? Cody went from legacy to dashing to undashing to whatever the one was in between to Rhodes Scholars, Stardust, American Nightmare, and now will he be WWE Champion? The story writes itself. To me, it's a McIntyre style story. He left, built himself, and came back stronger than ever. And I truly think Roman Reigns is finally going to be dethroned, and we will have a new chief in WWE. Cody Rhodes is walking out of WrestleMania in the main event, WWE Champion. And that's all from me. Do you agree with my predictions? Let me know down below. Don't forget to like this, subscribe, do whatever. Show it to your mum, show it to your dog, show it to your cat, do whatever. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.